So, if you just see this, so currently when we are just going for the data science programming, you will be just learning what is, I mean, like how to start with the Python programming, what are the various built-in functions, what are operators, what are strings, list, tuples, dictionaries. So these are required for basic writing of the programming. And when it comes to again the data science, so these are the, I mean, like these are the very basic building blocks of Python. Like if let's say, how do you declare the certain variables? How do you perform addition and subtraction operations? How do you write some basic Python programs like uh, factorial and prime number programming? So how to identify prime numbers? So if you want to write any kind of basic program, you need these. And then when you want to perform any basic operations for data science, so there are certain libraries that are related to these. Uh, so like let's say in the basic C programming, if you are writing some advanced program, you will be building from scratch. But Python allows us most interactively, and also it has some inbuilt libraries, which is called NumPy, Pandas. So these NumPy and Pandas, they allow us, they have most of the inbuilt functions. So which will perform the operations uh, on certain data sets. So like if you see this is a NumPy, we will be going in depth. So these NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Scikit-learn. So these are the libraries which are mostly related to the data science, and these libraries we will be seeing in depth. Uh, so so since due to the time constraint, we are thinking of covering the Python programming in today's and tomorrow's mostly in 2 days. So that's why I am not going in depth session. So let's say for when we are trying to cover most of the basic Python programming, we will be going like each session like hello world programming. So this is variables. So you will be seeing how to declare different types of variables. Like if you see here, we will be first showing you, we will be executing these scripts. So these are currently we have written in raw form. So this like first we will be declaring here how to declare a string, different types of strings. And so here if you see we have declared the strings and then integers and the true functions, and then we will be seeing how to combine those different strings, how to print those different strings, what are the data, and again in the next. So this is one, and if you just move to one more, so here we will be printing the different operators. So first, how to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, what are the different operators that are present, what will be the output of those operators, how to print complex numbers, multiplication of these complex numbers, and how to perform these operations. So these kind of, we will be going in depth when we are moving into the full length course session. But since we are in a time constraint, so that's why I am, so we might be skipping some basics. I mean, very low level basics when I say. So, but when we go to full session based upon the requirement of all the candidates, we will be concentrating on everything. I hope everyone is clear what we wanted to let you know. Any doubts? You can freely post in the chat. So first, in this, so all the introduction I will be trying to cover in this first introduction to Python session. And then we will be concentrating on NumPy and Pandas. How do we perform the operations? What are NumPy and Pandas? And coming to this interactive kernel, what is this? So this is a Jupyter notebook. So some of you might be knowing all this. If you are, I'm just trying to give in-depth knowledge to the non-IT non-IT students or other non-BTech candidates also. So when you want to write a programming, we generally need certain kernels or a back platform. So these are called Jupyter notebooks. We will guide you once the full length course starts. We will also guide you how to install these Anaconda and also Python terminals and libraries. And how do we start is, you go to the start menu. Once you say Jupyter notebook, so this is a Jupyter notebook, which is a part of Anaconda 3 installation library. So once if I click this, this will open, and these are this is called one kernel, where I will be performing my Python programming and other things, and I can save this. So this will be saved as a .py .ipyy. So IPython notebook. So this you can save it and you can perform programming next time, and again save it and you can proceed. So this is where we generally perform the Python programming, and also you will be building the data science projects and those things in a step-by-step manner in these IPython notebooks itself. You will be importing the data into this, like if you see here, currently I am saving this. So in this folder, Sandeep BBIC. So currently I have saved my IPython notebook here, and I am opening it from this kernel. So let me show you how it will be. So when you open the Jupyter notebook, this is how it looks like. So I'm accessing my storage here. And from this storage, I am opening the Python files. Like if you see, this is the current one. When I open any one kernel, I can open any new kernel. If you see this new, I can open a Python 3 kernel or a text file or a folder or a terminal from this, and I can start working on that. So this is the new untitled notebook, and I can just write anything. And just, if you see here, I'm just trying to print. And then I have to press Shift Enter, or I can just run here. So if I run this, it will print this. And also you can just, or from the keyboard, you can just press the Shift plus Enter, which will just do the same thing. And that's how I keep on building my work. So now coming to the Python. So I will be just going through various functions that are available in Python. Like let's say print. What does print does? And I am showing you what will this print do. And let's say some other functions which are like variables that are available. So these things I will be going through, and so the main motto of this is how we are trying to cover the content, and also how we will be explaining you and how we are proceeding. And in the coming session, in the full length sessions, we will be going in some more in depth into each concept, and also we will be trying to cover much more deeper content. Am I clear? Any doubts till now? Okay, moving on. So, yes.
No doubt, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So if you see, first I'm trying to, so print is the basic function in Python. So as the name itself suggests, so most of the functions, the function names in the Python are self-explanatory. So when you try to, like, when you want to print something, so you need to write the print function, open the braces. So always the print, so print always needs these braces. And is it needed that the space, so between the space after the function, I have just kept it mandatory. Space is not mandatory required. You can avoid the space and just run. If you see, even if I give the space or without space, it doesn't matter, but the output of the thing will be same. And also, why I have kept the things, you can use double quotes or single quotes. The output will be the same. So when, and also let's say if you want to print, if you see here, if you want to print with the double quotes, and if I just write, if I show you here, when I want to print double quote, if you see here, when you go inside and try to give one more double quotes, my cursor is just moving aside and I'm unable to print this hello world. So when you want to try to include such special characters, we will be giving this backslash. So when I give backslash, so if you see here, when I'm trying to include one more double quote, but it is just moving aside. So when I give a backslash and when I give one more double quote, it will be including that. One more backslash. And then if I give, now you can see that I'm able to introduce one more double quotes. So so what I wanted to say is these special characters will be used to avoid certain default conditions. So Python, the print function has a default function, which will, like, when you give one one codes, it will avoid, it will stop you giving one more special code or double quotes or single quotes. You have to use such these kind of characters to give those. I hope I'm clear. So when I print this, you can see that I am able to print hello world with space, without space, with single quotes, double quotes, and also these things. And if I give nothing, you will be seeing nothing here. It will print empty. Let's say if I avoid this and if I print this, you can see that there is space, there is no space. So the function, when I give a empty print, it will just, an empty line will be present and you will be able to see nothing. If let me show you, now there is no space, right? When I run this again, you can see that there is an empty line, empty space. So these are the some usage of print function and some functionalities. And coming to the next one. So when you can see that, but the usage of this by using this print function, not only just simple words, I can even use large strings. So I am just writing the large strings with multiple things present in between. You can see. So this is the things I'm writing. So you can see that when I want to print in separate lines, if you see that here, even though I have written this thing in the next line, it is just printing in the one line. I am learning Python and we are starting the print statements. So it is just in one liner. But let's say you wanted to print in two lines in this format. So then what you need to do? You need to give in this format. When you go with the triple quotes, it will understand the different line structure, and then it will just print whatever the format that you will be giving in. So let us run this. So if I'm running this, you can see that it is just printing in two lines. And then in the similar way, you can see that. So we will first learn Python how to print. I'm not just ending it. So when I wanted to continue in the same line, so previously, if you see here, when I'm just giving continuous print functions, each print function is being printed in the next line by default. But let's say you wanted to print continuously, you can just give to these kind of things the end operator and give this, and then it will just print the second line in the same thing. So then, so even though I have given this second statement separately, but if you can see here, it is just printing it in the first line itself. So next, coming, any doubts? Okay, voice disturbance. So can everyone mute themselves? Let me. Okay. I think I have muted everyone. Okay. So variables. Variables are those when we wanted to save something. So you need to uh, declare those, like let's say an integer or float or uh, strings or substrings. So when you want to perform any kind of operations, let's say you wanted to perform operation of additions, a plus b, I mean like 5 plus 3. So you need to first save 5 and 3 in two separate entities. So the entities that we are trying to store those data are called variables. Like if you see here, I wanted to first declare apples and oranges. So I am just saving this string in the variable called fruit. Is it necessary that I should always give fruits? No, I can even just give an end. So A. So I can even give the same thing, apples and oranges in A. This is also a variable. This fruits is also variable. So declaration of these variables is up to you, so that it can be an interactive manner. So I am just declaring why I'm giving fruits, because when I see fruits, I should be able to understand what I'm declaring. So it is just only that. But you can even give A, B, C, D, or so all the any kind of strings can be used to declare. So if you see here, I have declared apple and oranges in fruits 10, and so the integer to number of apples, 20 to number of oranges, and the same applies to this also. So no, not necessary that you should use this. You can use even other variables, simple variables, to declare these functions. So finally, if you see here, I have just printed. So you can see here, I'm just printing. So when I'm saving this apple and oranges to fruits, so it has been saved in this. Now I can use these things here. You can see that how I have print this. So I have, and I have given fruits. So whatever I give inside the codes, it will be going as it is. And if I don't give something inside the codes, it means that it has to print the value that is stored in it. So I have has been printed samely fruits, which is apples and oranges, has been taken here, because fruits has a value which is apple and oranges. And then I have here, if you see, I have again kept number of apples without any quotes. So it is just printing the value, which is 10. And again, oranges, the value. So when you want to print something, their values, you need to keep the outside the quotes. First, like for every ending of the quotes, you need to give a comma and then write the respective variable. When you write the variable, it will print the value present in the variable. It can be a string, it can be an integer, it can be a float also. I can even give float also, like 10.5, 20.6, and I can run it. You can see that now I have apples and oranges. I have 10.5 apples. I have 20.6 oranges. So these variables can be used to declare variables, integers, float, any kind of numbers or strings. Okay, I hope I'm clear. So if you have any doubts, or if you are wanted in some more explanation on any of these things, you can stop me when or you can just paste in the chat. Now, number operations. Since we have seen the declaration of variables, so these I am just moving somewhat faster from this, because these number operations, I hope everyone is familiar. So if you don't understand anywhere, you can just stop me and ask the things. So number operations are just nothing but the basic things that we have seen. So where addition, subtraction, multiplication, so the power operations and these things. So you can see here, just I wanted to perform 2 power 4, which is 16. So I have just written this, and outside the comma, I have declared that. And these things can also be done by declaring the variables. So like A is 2, B is 4. I can just declare A is 2, B is equal to 4. And then I can write A power 4. So that will give the output. So in the similar way, so minus 3, 2. So which is minus 9. So in the similar way, if I go binary operators. So binary operators are these addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, the remainder. So these things. The floor operator, which is for 2 forward slashes, yield the quotient, which is 13.5. The quotient of 2 will give the 6. It will round it off and it will give the quotient. So the remainder. So the remainder will be the 1.5. I hope you are you know the basic subtract the division rules, the dividend, quotient, and remainder. So these are the operators, and bitwise operators are also present. So bitwise operators are the logical operators. So these bitwise operators are and or. These are the bitwise operators, which you will be seeing in the coming, like, and what is the usage of and or these things. So this is or operator. I think if you are familiar what or is, I mean, like it will generally give the true or false. I mean, like true or false, or if you know, it will. So out of true, these AND operator, it will always try to see if there is a true value or a higher value present in this. So currently I'm giving 3 or 0. So it will give the output as 3, because 3 is an higher value and it will be a true value. In the similar way, AND operator, it will always see if there is a false present. If there is at least one false present in the operation, it will just, the output will be the false. So 3 and 0, which is true and false. Since there is one false present in it, the output will be the false. So that is the bitwise operators. And then coming to the other kind of operators, the greater than, less than, equal to, less than, or equal to. So those can be compared in the following formats, like this: 5 greater than 2, 5 equal to 3, 5 less than or equal to 4. So the output will be false, true. So first it will try to compare. If you see here, so you can even just avoid this, and just if I just I can just give this 5 less than or equal to 4. The output will be just false. But for the sake of understanding, I have given again, I have kept what I'm using in the double quotes. But when you just write 5 is less than or equal to 4, it will just, the output will be the false. So let me just show you that. You have seen here. Now, if you see here, this is 5 less than or equal to false. But when I just directly see, you can see that it is just output is false. So these operators, they will compare the output of what I'm trying to show is the output of these operation 5 less than or equal to 4 will be either true or false. And when I print that, the same will be given out. So even in other, so for this operation, it doesn't need generally variables. You can directly give that. And when you use these operators, greater than, less than, or equal to, so thus the output will be generally either a binary one, which is a true or false. So, and for performing these variables, we have one more inbuilt library for power absolute. We have a math library. So in Python, we have, let's say for square root. So for square root, the power. So you have seen here for performing the power operations, 2 power 4, we have written in this format. But in math library. So math is a library. I will be importing this. So without importing math library, you cannot perform these operations. Let me show you. So first, if you can see here, I'm avoiding the math library, and I will try to run this. So you can see that the error. So the name math is not found. So math is a library, and math library has these functions: ceiling, floor, all the absolute power. So now if you can see, I'll just input this function. So importing is nothing but, since this is a IPython notebook, and this notebook doesn't has that, it is just a platform. So to this platform, I'm importing this particular library. So even in the coming days, if you want any libraries, you need to import all those libraries into this IPython notebooks. So
where all these libraries will be present, sir?
So these are inbuiltly present in the Anaconda main installation that we will be doing. So the Anaconda installation will have all the libraries that are present, and so already I have the Anaconda installed. If you see here, Anaconda Navigator. So this will be present directly in the Google. We can just install this, but we will be showing you when we go when we start the course. So Anaconda. So this is a Python and R programming scientific toolkit. So it has all the tools and packages. So when we install this, it will come in all the math libraries will come pre-installed with this, and that will be installed in our PC. And but if you can ask, many of you might be asking, like, why do we need to import every time? Since when everything is present in Anaconda library, why should I import every time? Because runtime, let's say in this Anaconda, there are thousands of libraries that are needed. But when I want, when you import everything and run, so what you are doing is, let's say you are just you are let me explain in this. So you might, in your house, you have, let's say, some 20 pairs of clothes, and you are trying to travel to somewhere for 2-day trip. So we generally just pack 2 to 3 pair of clothes for our traveling. But why do we do that? We can always take the 20 pairs of clothes, right? What will happen? Your journey becomes harder, because you will be carrying all those 20 set of pairs with you along through the entire journey. So in a similar way, if I import, whenever I want to run anything, if I import all the libraries, the runtime will be affected. So when I open this kernel will be associated with certain set of CPU and GPU, right? So if I import everything, the runtime will be affected. So I'm just making sure that I'm just only importing the required things. Now, if you see, I'm importing this, I'll run this. If you see, now it is running. So I'm just importing the required things that are necessary, so that my runtime is not affected, and my running of these particular program or a project is sufficient. importing everything unnecessary packages will affect my runtime. So in this, any doubts anymore? Okay. So when you can see here, I have just declared 2 and 3 in the variables. Now 2 by 3, I'm just rounding off. So 2 by 3 will be giving an a float variable, which is around 0.6 or something. When I say round, it will be rounding off to the nearest lower integer. So generally lower integer or upper integer. You can see here first, when I trying to round it, it is going to round it to 1. Since it is around 0.6, right? It will be rounding it to 1. If it is less than 0.5, it will be rounding it to 0. So next floor, the largest integer less than or equal to x. So it will be just round floor value. So when I say floor, you can just understand it will be always bringing it to the lower value. Floor is in literal sense. So here, when I'm rounding it off, it will be going with the rules less than or greater than 0.5. Floor, it will bring it to 0. Ceiling, seal. So seal, again the literal meaning. So it will go always take it to the top value. Let's say if you are going around 0.5, if your output is exactly 0.5, it will even then it will take to 1, since we are giving it as ceiling. So I'm saying that take it to the larger nearest integer. In the floor, I am saying that take it to the largest lower integer. Understood? Okay.
Sir.
And in the power function. So previously I had showed you 2 power 3. How do we perform 2 power 4? Like if you see here, we are just giving power functions and then operating it. But here you can just give power variable 1, variable 2, and it will be print 2 power 3 and absolute value of the function. So 2 minus 3, which is equal to -1, but the absolute function will avoid the negative operator, and it will give out the value as 1 and the square root. So square root of 2 will be 1.414. So there are much more functions available within this math library. We can even explore those, even not only the square root, you have even much more complex functions that are available in math library. So when you want to, instead of performing, like going in a traditional way, which is 2 power 4, we can use directly these libraries. So let's say some of the things, if any one of you might heard, like standard deviation, variance, these are things related to the statistics. So these things are also available in this math library. So calculation of standard deviation of a distribution, and also variance. So those kind of things are present here. Okay. So coming to the string operations. So previously we have seen how do we declare the strings. Now let's see, there is a concept of subsetting and setting and accessing the strings and accessing a particular point in a string. So those all things we will be seeing here. So first thing is, when you are trying to declare two strings, you can concatenate them by using an operator, the addition operator. So you can see this is an one string. This is another string. I can concatenate these two strings. If I run this, you can see here left string concatenated to the right string. Let me show you the initial concept that I just showed. So what I will be declaring these strings by using variables. I'm just declaring by using variables. So if you see here, now I have declared the variables. Now I will try to print or concatenate those strings by using these two strings. Let me print. So if you see, the first thing I have done by using variables. The second I have just concatenated directly by using without declaring the variables. So the same operation can be performed in these two ways. And so is it required that I should concatenate only the strings? So no, you can see here I can concatenate strings and integers ABC 999, which I have performed here. And the same operation can be performed directly. You can see here, this is one more way. I have declared these two variables and I have declared one more variable which performs this operation. And directly I can print this third variable. Here I am assigning the final output to a new variable and I'm just printing the new variable. So I'm showing all these things so that you are just more familiar, and generally we give out these things in separate way and then we ask the students to run this, but I'm just showing and running these things directly since this is a basic demo session. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, moving on. So subsetting. So you are seeing here, like I have I have given a left string, right string directly printed in this. Now, let's say if I wanted to access only particular part of a string, like let's say I wanted to access this G in the left string, I wanted to access only the G which is present in the string, and I wanted to print this. And how do we do that? So these strings, when I declare, like if I'm declaring A is equal to left string, so these strings can be accessed via indexing or subsetting. You can see here, this is monthly Python. So let's play like monthly Python. I have just written it. And these things can be accessed. So always in Python, the subsetting or the number sequencing will start from 0, never not from 1. So if you are trying to indexing or accessing something, your number sequence always has to start from 0. If you see that this is 0. So it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in the reverse order, it will start from -1. Now the usage of this, I will show you. So I have shown you like strings from the left, if you start, it will be a positive indices starting with 0. And from the right, if you start, it will be just a negative indices. Now, as I showed, if I just wanted to access, let me show you here, this word is equal to Python. So I am just showing you how to access each part of the string like P, Y, T, H, O, N. So you can see, first I have given this string and assigned it to a word. Now you can see that each letter is being accessed by using word 0, word 1, and word 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see here, I am just printing this Python. So let's say if I just wanted to access T, you can just say word of 2, that will print T. And in a similar way, let's say instead of, if there is a very lengthy sequence, like if I just wanted to, in this monthly Python, if I wanted to go print only the last word, which is N, if I want just N, then I can, instead of counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until if I go until 11, let's say if there are some 25 letter word, I cannot count all those things. So what I do is I just come from back, I say word of my, so you can see here word of -1, which will give N. I mean the last letter of this word. So this is just for our comfort if there are some very large strings. So word of -1, -2, this will give the output. Okay, slicing and dicing. So slice and dice is again a concept which is just related to the subset. So as I have shown you here, we are accessing in one letter of a word. Let's say if I just wanted to print only P and Y, T and H, two letters or three letters of a particular string. So that can be done by using slicing and dicing. So a string can be sliced, which means cut. It can be cut by using the starting index and end index. The index is again just moving on. If you see here, 0 is the starting index, and wherever you stop, that will be the end index. So for this 6 to 10, 6 to 9, you can see here, I'm just showing this is my starting index and this is my ending index. So so if you see here, print word 0 is to 2. So I'm just starting here, start from 0, print until 2, not 2. So the end index will not always be included. So I wanted to print until H. So I should go until 10. So start from 6, print until 10. So not 10, until 10. So for printing PYTH, I have to start from 6, give 10, so that it will print. So in the similar way, if you see, if I wanted to start, if print PY, so if I come here, see, out of this Python, P is 0, Y is 1. So if I want to print PY, my starting index has to be 0 and end index has to be 2, which I have given here. Then the output will be PY. In the similar way, you can not necessary, the starting index can be anything. It not necessary that it should be only 0. So I can start from 2, go until 10, which is THON. I can start from reverse from -3 to -2, which is H. If you don't give anything as a starting index, it will assign, it will assume that 0 is my starting index, and it will print PY. And if I don't give the end index, it will understand that my ending until my end index is the end. Okay, word is not okay. Okay. So here you can see, and also these strings are immutable. So what is the concept of muting and immuting? We will be seeing in the next steps. So I mean, when so you can see that when you are declaring word in a Python, and let's say if I just want my output as JPython, you cannot change the, once you have declared in as Python, if you want to change something, either you have to reassign it, or you have to give it to a new variable. You cannot change. That is what I'm just showing here. So when you, once it is immutable, the meaning of immutable is it cannot be changed once strings are assigned. So if you want to change something, you have to concatenate it by using the concatenation. Change something, you have to change that by using concatenation of the strings. Now, if I want to print JPython, this, how do I do this? I'm just showing here. I'm just taking a new variable. Either I can just directly give JPython in entire strings, or I can give J and then the word and then print it JPython. So this is what the JPython. How to print a new words by using the existing words. But I cannot just directly change the P in the current word that I have defined. So once I have declared this, they are immutable. Either you have to reassign the word, but you cannot change in the middle. Now, so there are certain, again, standard functions that are available within this Python. We are just seeing this. So if I like length, so if I wanted to see or find out the length of the string, so you can see that you can use length function. Length function will give you the length of the string, the length of the string that is available. So here it is 6 and it is given. If I increase the length, let me show you. So here it is 6, right? Python with BBIC. Now you can see it is 11. So, and also is TH present in Python? It will give it as true. Let's say if I give out THT, is THT present in Python? Now you can see it is as false. And I can, if I see THO, is it present? You can see it is true. So THO is present in Python. So these, it just compares the string, the subset of the string, the subset, is it present in the main string or not? Or the substring, is it present in the main string or not? In the similar way, find TH in Python. So it is just asking, it will give the output will be the index of the string. So where does the TH is present? 0, 1, 2. So that it will give out the index. And I'm checking whether if the string starts with this substring or not. Py. It will give. It will check whether if it starts with that or not. And then it will output that. In the similar way, ends with. Ends with will give whether if the string ends with that particular function or not. So if you see here, my string is starting with py. So the output is true. But when I say ends with, is my string ending with py? No, it is ending with o on. So it will give the output as false. In the similar way, if I want to convert a string to lower characters, I just say lower and it will convert everything to lower Python. If I want everything to upper, it will convert to upper. And if I just strip, so if I give this, it will print in the similar format. So if I want to split everything, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here it is a one string, but it will give in a list format by separately, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have given in a one storage, but you can see that in a list it is giving out separately. And so I have just given names and I have declared some names here and the separator. So now what I'm asking is print the names by using a separator. So I have given the names here and I have asked commas, and I am asking print these names by using comma separator. So it is printing John, Jane, Sandra, Mike, and Scott. In the similar way, you can see. Now I am just going to list. What are list functions? We are just going overboard today, around 5 to 10 minutes. If everyone is okay, I will be just concluding in next 5 to 10 minutes. Once I conclude with list and tuples, the remaining we will be continuing tomorrow. So list are just nothing but, so we have seen some variables before where we just use a, b to store this list strings and integers are variables. So list are List are one of type of data structures that can be used to store a sequence of strings, variables, or combination of both, or a particular data. Like you can see list people, Tom, Harry, Jane. I am just declaring a list and here. And in the similar way, the integers. I can also use a combination of both. So you can see here these things. We can even let me show you. There's another example where list two people. I can even just declare 10 here and then again print that. Like comma. You can see here, I can use combination of both integers and strings. So one of the thing that lists are mutable. I mean, once I declare the list, let's say for list people, if I want to add an integer, dot append 1, 2, 3. Now, see, I am trying to print the same list people again. Here. So, see, the first list people doesn't have 1, 2, 3, but I have appended in the 1, 2, 3 here, and I'm printing. Now you can see that 1, 2, 3 is appended. So the meaning of mutable is once you have declared a list, you can add, delete, subtract all the things to the particular list. So that's why those are called list. And so we have some more operations by using strings, concatenating the list. I mean, two lists can be declared and they can be concatenated. I mean, list one, list people, list flowers can be concatenated and shown here. So let us, I think I wanted to go in depth into the list and tuples. So let us conclude today, and we will be going in depth into the list and tuples tomorrow. And also I will be covering pandas and numpy libraries. So the pandas and numpy libraries are the basic operation libraries that are required for performing any operations on the data sets. So we had previously seen data pre-processing. So how to process the data? So these we will be using all these list tuples and numpy and panda libraries to process those data, all the things. So I'll just show you preview today. So these are the numpy libraries, the operations, and pandas libraries and operations. I also request everyone to start join immediately during the session so that we will save the time. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Handing
can you
over to
please share this recorded video?
yes, I think you can just reach out to the marketing team. They will be sharing these things and accordingly.
Okay, sir. Thank you.